Hello everyone and welcome to day 1 of the fetal pig dissection. Remember, our objective for this overall unit is to be able to compare and contrast how the earthworm, the frog, and the fetal pig obtain, use, transport, and excrete energy. So we have already finished the earthworm and the frog. Today we are starting with our fetal pig. So a couple things I just want to go over before we actually get started. So why do we dissect? First off, anyone who is interested in the medical career, in the medical field or some type of healthcare career, you can't. It's really hard to just look at diagrams and then know what things look like. For example, I could show you different pictures and be like, oh, look, here are some, here's a fetal pig that's already been dissected, and here's some really good pictures. Well, guys, when we open it up, it's not going to look nearly as pretty as all of this. Same thing with, I could give you some, well, you're going to see some of these pictures again. So I could give you like this picture, which you'll see that one again. And, you could look at just diagrams, but sometimes it's just not enough. Same thing, so this is, these are all like cartoon-like pictures, and they're great, especially as a resource, but they are not good enough for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go do surgery on someone, because the general organization of every organism is kind of going to be the same, but things could be a little bit different. So that's one of the main reasons why we dissect. Also, to understand the complexity and the interconnections among the parts of an organism that processes energy. We also want to observe the variation among specimens in placement, color, and things like that of their different structures. Now, if we were in the classroom setting, you would all take a look at like everyone else's fetal pigs, because believe it or not, they do look very different from one another. Similar, but they are also very different, especially once you get from a male to a female. That way you could observe the differences in the reproductive structures. So why are we looking at pigs? Well, first off, pigs look internally almost identical to a human. So they're readily available, but not specifically bred or captured for dissection purposes. So this poor little fetal pig, even though some of you are like, oh, it's so cute, this is so sad. Yes, I understand that. However, this fetal pig was going to be a byproduct of the meat industry, and if it wasn't used for educational purposes, it would have gone on to become fertilizer or disposed of in some other type of way. So keep in mind, this is a fetal pig, so it was never born. So it was not like killed and now we're working with it. No. Like I said, it would have gone on to be disposed of in some other way. So we are using the fetal pig for educational purposes. All right, we're going to look at the external anatomy of the pig first and some major body regions. Then we will look and determine the sex of this pig. So I've already rinsed off the preservative because this pig actually heavily smells of chemicals. I would not mind like smelling pig manure at this point because it's very strong. But anyways, okay, so we have our head region, or the anterior region of the pig. We have the trunk, so it's like this piece right here. And then we have the posterior region, or the butt end. When you take a look at up here, so this region right here, this is more like the pectoral region. In us, it would be like our chest, our pectoral girdle. If you are a weightlifter, your pecs or your chest muscles. The thorax, which is kind of like right here. And then you also have the trunk. Trunk region is down this way, and the pelvic region. So here's your pelvic region, just like your own pelvis, like your hip bones and things of that nature. Okay, so I'm gonna, hopefully this all goes well today and you can see all this very clearly. So this here, ladies and gentlemen, is the umbilical cord. Just for anyone who might be like, oh, that's not the penis. No, it is not the penis. It is the umbilical cord. So all the fetal pigs have an umbilical cord. The umbilical cord's purpose is how the baby is going to get nutrients. So food, water, oxygen, blood, and this is the exchange right here between the fetus and then the mom. while they're in the uterus, of course. So there are different types of specimens that I can order. There are ones that are injected or ones that are non-injected. Injected meaning they put a latex inside the different blood vessels. So arteries would be red and veins would be blue. These ones are non-injected. So for me to sit here and be like, oh, well, this here is the artery and this is the vein, very hard to do just because they are not injected. We are only using the fetal pig over the course of a few days, where there are some courses that use the fetal pig over the course of weeks and weeks and weeks, because they learn all the muscles and all, they go into way more detail. So within the umbilical cord, there are two arteries. There's a larger and flattened umbilical vein, and then a very round and small allantoic sac, which is part of the extension of the urinary bladder in this fetus. So like I said, there are two arteries in a flattened vein. Based off of this, it's a little bit hard to tell. Okay, there is the anus, which would be the butt, and also mammary papillae, which are present in males and females. So looking at the tail end here, okay, the anus, butt, and then all, whether they are male or female, are going to have these mammillary papillae right here, or the teats, okay? Just like males have nipples, females also have nipples. All right, so what's the sex? Before I go ahead and say, hey, this is a boy or this is a girl, males are going to have a urogenital opening just posterior to the umbilical cord. So here's the umbilical cord. They're also going to have a scrotal sac just ventral to the anus, so like closer to the belly end, not like closer to the tail end of the anus. Females are going to have a urogenital opening ventral to the anus, and it is surrounded by folds called labia. The genital papillae will protrude just ventral to the opening. Okay, I'm going to show you two pictures, males versus females at this time. Okay, so do you think it is a boy or a girl? You will make that hypothesis, and we are moving on here. So yesterday's assignment, one of the questions said, how can you tell if it's a male or female pig? And someone's response was not what I expected, but I enjoyed it. It said something like, well, a female will more like squat, or you will be able to see the pee or urine coming out like closer to the butt, whereas a male is like more underneath the belly where you will see the urine coming from. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here. Here's our pig once again. Okay. Here is the umbilical cord right here, and there is nothing just right around the umbilical cord right here. There is no opening. So this here is definitely not a male. I'm going to show you back to the butt or the anus. So there are, in a female, there are multiple holes. So this here is the anus. This here is the urogenital opening. This protrusion is the genital papillae. It's going to protrude just ventral to that opening here. So genital papillae, the urogenital opening, and then the anus. So this here is indeed a female fetal pig. I want to show you a couple other things here. So here's our head. There are two ears. They are nice and floppy. The eyes. This fetal pig is pretty well developed. So you can actually see the hair on its face as well as the rest of its body. It's a pig, guys. It looks like a fetal pig. Something else I just kind of want to bring up, if we were to measure the length of it, which my ruler only goes to 15 centimeters, but so if this here is from nose to top of the trunk here, here's 15 centimeters, here's 15 centimeters, so it is well over 30 centimeters. I have a little chart I'm going to show you, and it tells you the age of the fetus in days. Since this one is over 300 millimeters or 30 centimeters, it is considered full term, meaning it is 112 to 115 days plus in the uterus. This is a full term fetal pig. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we will start with the actual cuts, and I have a few questions for you. Have a wonderful day. Make sure you are thinking of your partner for next week's activity. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.